Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Givaram Hari Girivara Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Girivara Hari Yashodanandana Brajadanarandana Yashodanandana Brajadanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Girivara Yashodanandana Brajadanarandana Yashodanandana Brajadanarandana Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jamuna Tira Vanasari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Gaur Piranande Jai Vishupad Paramahamsa Tri Vrajaka Sahaja Stotra Satta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Sirabai Charanarvin Bhakti Raghava Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Pandavas Founder Acharyas Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada Ki Namaskar Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki any type all the Pimanande, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to be assembled devotees, all that is to see Guru and to see Gauranga, all that is to see Prabhupada Ki.
Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Falling down. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanandana Sarakaya Takshirumiritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutkale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Sri Rupam Sadragatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakanditam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tatakansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Perubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara Narayana, the Supreme Human Being, unto Mother Saraswati, the Goddess of Learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayesha bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Tamashloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Idam Bhagavatam Nama
Puranam Brahma Samhitam
Puranam Brahma Samhitam
Uttama Charitam
Uttama Shloka Charitam
Chakara Bhagavan Rishi
Chakare Bhagavan Rishi
Nishreya Sayalokasya
Nishesaya Lokasya
Dhamyam Swasyayanam Mahat.
Danyam Swastanam Mahat.
The Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadhara
Sri Advaita Gadadhara
Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Sarabhyaya Namaha Om Sarabhyaya Namaha Om Sarabhyaya Namaha Makam karoti vasalam tvangum langayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Yat kripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Continuing to read from Canto number 1, chapter 15, entitled The Pandavas Retire Timely. Speaking about retirement, the best persons, I was just thinking how we're sitting here. Of course, we will be sitting there, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, when they will finish the renovations of the temple. But our project will become more alive when we have two special living entities living on the property. Which two special living entities? Go Brahmana, cow. Yeah, it's like a family becomes alive when there are children. Householder life becomes, yes, when children are present. So, Go Brahmana means cows, yeah. Temple means cow. And so we can keep in mind there must be some retired person somewhere who can just come and sit, chant Hare Krishna, look after the cows, and do a little bit of some seva. That will bring life to the project and bring auspiciousness also. And then the other is Gurukul boys running around. Yeah. So we are looking for, it's good to remind ourselves, I try to share that whenever possible. We're looking for a couple. A couple means a grihastha couple to look after our Gurukul. We won't have too many students initially because we all have the big bodies here occupying the Gurukul also for some time. But we'll be using the first floor as soon as we find one ideally retired couple, vanaprastha couple. Anyways, you can keep it in mind in your prayers. And sometimes people come here, they're curious, they inquire about what we're doing. So we're looking, especially for these two things, we're looking for someone to, ideally a retired person, not too old, who can still do some seva, go seva, and also for our Gurukul. Then our place will become a bit more, quite a bit more alive actually, and fulfilling more the purpose of why we have the project here. Okay, text 46. 46, yes. Te sadhu krita sarvartha gyatva chantikam atmanaha manasa dharayam asur vaikunta charanam bhujam te sadhu krita sarvartha gyat vatyantikam atmanaha manasa dharayam asur vaikunta charanam bhujam te sadhu krita sarvatta gyat Tyantikam atmanaha manasa dharayam asur vaikunta charanam bhujam te sadhu krita sarvartha gyat vatyantikam atmanaha manasa dharayam asur vaikunta charanam bhujam te sadhu krita sarvartha Jnanatyantikam atmanaha manasa dharayam asur vaikunta charanam bhujam.
ते साधु कृत सर्वार्था
ते साधु कृत सर्वार्था
ज्ञात्वात्यन्तिकमात्मनः
ज्ञात्वात्यन्तिकमात्मनः
मनसा धारयामासुर्
मनसा धारयामासु
वैकुण्ठचरणाम्बुजम्
वैकुण्ठचरणाम्बुजम्
ते साधु कृत सर्वार्था
Te sadhu krita sarvartam
ज्ञात्वात्यन्तिकम् आत्मनः
yatvatyam tikam atmanaham
मनसा धारयाम आसुर
manasa dharyam asur
वैकुण्ठचरण
vakunta charanam bhujam. Te,
ते
all of them,
all of them
sadhu krita,
साधु कृत
having performed everything worthy
having performed everything worthy
of a saint.
of a saint
Sarva artha,
sarva artha
that which includes everything worthy.
everything worthy
Gatva,
gyatva
knowing it well.
knowing it well
Achantikam,
atyantikam
the ultimate.
the ultimate
Atmanaha,
atmanaha
of the living being.
of the living being
Manasa,
manasa
within the mind.
within the mind
Dharayam asuhu,
dharyamasu
sustained.
sustained
Vaikuntha,
vaikuntha
the Lord of the spiritual sky.
the lord of the spiritual sky
Charanam ambujam,
charana ambujam
the lotus feet.
the lotus feet.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Raghava Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. They all had performed all the principles of religion, and as a result rightly decided that the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna are the supreme goal of all. Therefore, they meditated upon his feet without interruption. Kindly repeat after me. They all had performed
They all had performed
all the principles of religion,
all the principles of religion,
and as a result,
and as a result,
rightly decided
rightly decided
that the lotus feet
that the
of
lotus feet
of the Lord Sri Krishna
of the Lord Sri Krishna
are the supreme goal of all.
are the supreme goal of all.
Therefore, they meditated
Therefore, they meditated
upon his feet
upon his feet
without interruption.
without interruption.
Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 7:28, the Lord says that only those who have done pious deeds in previous lives and have become freed from the results of all impious acts can concentrate upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The Pandavas, not only in this life, but also in their previous lives, had always performed the supreme pious work, and thus they are ever free from all the reactions of impious work. It is quite reasonable, therefore, that they concentrated their minds upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. According to Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha principles are accepted by persons who are not free from the results of impious action. Such persons affected with the contaminations of the above four principles cannot at once accept the lotus feet of the Lord in the spiritual sky. The Vaikuntha world is situated far beyond the material sky. The material sky the state of consciousness upon leaving the body molds the future body. Is ours. We have whatever lifetime, or lifespan rather, whatever lifespan is awarded to us in this particular body is mainly and primarily meant to prepare ourselves for the critical moment of leaving the present body. So here it mentions how, because the Pandavas in previous lives had already performed activities for the pleasure and satisfaction of Krishna, so they could very easily, Yudhishthira Maharaj did, receiving the news of Krishna's departure, he could immediately, although he was so opulently situated as the emperor of the world, so previous activities mold and determine life, and it generally takes many lifetimes, as Krishna explains also in the Bhagavad Gita. Bahunam janvanamante gyanavam mam prapaditi vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sadvulabha. Those who actually take up to the process, especially of bhakti. There are many people who take up to spiritual life, but there are very few people who take up to the process of bhakti. Taking up to the process of spiritual life in itself is very rare, and even more rare those who take up to pure devotional service. There's mention of, this was also referred to in a recent purport about dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. In this text, as in the previous one we read a few days back, it mentions how generally most people get caught up in activities of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha without understanding the proper, we could say, utility. This is an important point being made here. Probably is making reference to, was it Vishwanath? Yeah, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one of our foremost Vaishnavacharyas. We're trying to get the different commentaries of our different acharyas as part of our library. Very important, because our Vaishnavacharyas especially insight as to what is mentioned in the Shastra, which is for most ordinary living entities not so easy to grasp or to understand. So, quoting Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on the subject matter of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, unless one is just like, that's connected actually, that's also connected with varnashram, because we also see how most people who are dealing with the whole concept and the principles behind varnashrama also get caught up, also misunderstand, also abuse That's been the ongoing, we could say, sad state of affairs for the last 2,500 years. What happened 2,500 years ago? What happened yesterday? Huh? 2,500 years ago, Lord Buddha established, the philosophy of Buddhism. And in order to establish Buddhist philosophy, he rejected the Vedas. And why did he reject the Vedas? Because the Brahmanas at that time were misusing the knowledge of the Vedas in the name of religion, and they were performing all kinds of, they were killing so many animals, isn't it? So he established the concept or principle of ahimsa. It means that the varnashram system, since that time, even began before that, which is nicely explained by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his writings. So even Krishna's perfect system of varnashrama, and for that matter, even Krishna's perfect system of the material world. Material energy is very extraordinary. But what do the majority of people do with the material energy? They misuse it. They exploit it. And very badly in modern day society especially, to the point that we are extremely destructive, not only of the material nature, let's say, natural resources on the planet, but we are destructive of the living entities, and animals, and human beings for that matter as well. That is due to misunderstanding of these principles. Just like dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, when properly utilized, can help us, just like the system of varna and ashrama, when in the wrong hands, will be very destructive. People will be exploited. There will be abuse. But when directed, when properly understood, then this is clearly explained also. The ideal means by which to actually advance the consciousness. So this point is clearly made here by Srila Prabhupada. The other day we were quoting from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who was also making the same point, that the various rules and regulations that we find in Varnashrama, the whole system of Varnashrama, is for Vaishnavas and their condition here. So we have to understand that anyone who's still connected with the gunas or the modes of material nature should follow the prescribed regulations that are there in the Shastra in the context of dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, as a means, if properly guided, if properly directed by self-realized souls, then one will be able to properly utilize, just like in the Bhagavatam, sarva kama, very often quoted a verse by Srila Prabhupada, sarva kama dagahi. What does that mean? Who knows a little Sanskrit? Sarva kama.
All desire.
Yes.
Material desire.
Actually, Prabhupada translates in that context sarva kama as all material necessities. There's a difference between desires for sense gratification and desire to fulfill the basic necessities of life, which is also material, because we have a material body. We're living in the material world. So sarva kama dugamahi is like a foundational principle which is unknown or misunderstood in modern day society, even by, I would say, the majority of our devotees. So sarva kama dugamahi, somebody can trace that verse. Nowadays you can find things within a short time. Sarva, the whole verse we can read, and some of them. Sarva kama dugamahi.
Yuga.
Duga is Dhuga.
Mahi.
Mahi, Mahi. Mahi. Mahi means land. Sarva kama dugamahi. Means that all the material necessities of life come from the Mahi, land, come from the land. This is a fundamental principle in the Vedic culture which is forgotten. Yeah. Anyone find it? Okay.
7:22 purport.
I'll find it. Sure. Well.
No, 110:4.
110:4.
It's from the fourth chapter, I think. Fourth canto.
Fourth canto.
Yes.
What's the verse? I mean,
Fourth canto, 18th chapter.
4:18.
Verse 28.
20.
Yes, 28.
28. Oh, Dugam. No, that's not the one.
Oh, no.
So, okay, I'll bring it up here. Sarva kama. Mahi. See everything? Yeah. 110:4, correct.
110:4, but this is
Sarva kama dugama. Yes, that's the verse I'm looking for. So this is, yeah. Kamam babarsa parjanya sarva kama dugamahi. Si shichu sma vrajan gava. The gava cow is there. Paya Sodasvatir Muda. Translation: during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, the clouds showered all the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities in profusion. Due to its fatty milk bag and cheerful attitude, the cow used to moisten the grazing ground with milk. So no problem, if we have cow here, we won't have to endeavor so much to make the akada soil with proper consistency. Yeah. So this is like one of the famous, powerful purports. We won't read all of it, but you can read a little bit of this purport. The basic principle centered on land and cows. The necessities of human society are food, grains, fruit, milk, minerals, clothing, wood, etc. One requires all these items to fulfill the material needs of the body. So kama means actually, kama we generally, when we hear the word kama, we say, oh, it's very bad, because we generally think about sense gratification, kama. But actually kama also has the meaning and understanding of fulfilling material necessities. So fulfilling material necessities needs to be understood properly. And it can only be understood properly when we get guidance, get information from Shastra, from Srimad Bhagavatam. Everyone in the world, and is very especially prominent today in modern day society, is mad after economic development. True or not true? People are making all kinds of propaganda, and every country in the world is trying to increase in terms of economic development. But they have the wrong formula. They have the wrong understanding. The formula is given in the Bhagavad Gita and further elaborated upon in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that formula we all know, we've heard it many times. We hear it many times, we have heard it many times, but we don't understand it sufficiently. Krishi Goraksabani Jam Vaisha Karma Swabhavajam. That is the well-known verse, which is actually not well known. If we properly understood anything that we understand, we put into practice. There, because we have some understanding of the importance of cultivating this kind of lifestyle, etc. So it means that, coming back to the verse, only those who, due to having practiced in previous lives or having made some effort in this life at becoming fully detached from material nature, fully detached from the modes, the gunas, the modes of material nature, can actually give up, because the moment of death, we have no idea. Can knock on the door any moment. Yeah, and that is a real test. That will be, and that is the real test for all living entities, based on how we have prepared ourselves. Yeah. So the Pandavas, beginning with Yudhishthira Maharaj, a very pastime. This whole chapter, the Pandavas retire timely. They retire timely means they knew exactly when to completely leave their whole material situation, and the perfection. Well, that's what Vanaprastha and Sannyas are especially meant for, to just absorb, remembering Krishna, and helping execute Krishna's mission, basically. So this point is kind of subtle, that dharma, artha, kama, and moksha is generally for most people entangling. At the same time, it is, when properly understood and when properly followed under the guidance of devotees, is our means of liberation, of advancement in spiritual life. It's in this canto, actually, 1:9:26. 1926. I was referring to this some time back. The translation of the text is as follows. At Maharaj Yudhishthir's inquiry, Vishnudev first defined all the classifications of castes and orders of life in terms of the individual's qualifications. Then he systematically, in twofold divisions, described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment. The purport first line is especially significant. Prabhupada, in reference to the text, Vishnudev is beginning to instruct Yudhishthira Maharaj. Prabhupada says, the conception of the four castes and four orders of life, that means Varnashrama, as planned by the Lord himself, Bhagavad Gita, is to accelerate transcendental qualities of the individual person so that he may gradually realize his spiritual and thus act accordingly to get free from material bondage or conditioned life. The point is being made here that when properly understood, when properly utilized, that system that Krishna has created and given us in the Shastra, isn't it? Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So we have to have most people have understanding of Dharma, misunderstanding of Kama, of Artha, and also misunderstanding of what is actual moksha or liberation. So these are a few points on this. I'm sure there are other points.
From this verse and the purport and your explanation, it's for me it looks like there is 2 points that one will be attracted to focus on the lotus feet of the Lord when the previous life means follow these pious activities, but we distracted doing that properly again because of the previous life's impious activities. So it looks like this concept is very much, based on the lives, different lives, not one lifetime. So is it the goal of this part of explanation that we should understand this principle more deeply and not to reject, okay, I do whatever I want because I have a powerful guru and I have a practice of devotion, pure devotional service. I don't mind. Maybe I am conditioned yet, but it will become quickly dissolved because of my powerful practice. So is it for devotees, conditioned Vaishnavas, to make sure that they don't disrespect this principle, they don't take it too easy? Do you think that's the purport of these teachings?
To make sure that devotees don't disrespect. Which principle?
Value these previous lives, impious activity, which they definitely did. Most of us came from this background, which showed previous life was not nice.
Well, I mean, Prabhupada mentioned anyone who takes birth is because we have committed, we're still connected with the modes of material nature. Means one time, Prabhupada was giving a lecture one time and mentioning how, I forget that word he was using, that we're all rascals because we have taken birth, and we take birth because we have committed some sinful activities. And he was mentioning how everyone in the material world, even up to Lord Brahma also is conditioned, but becomes, like all living entities, can become liberated from his conditional state. The vast majority, 99.9%, take birth in the material world because of sinful activities, because of being contaminated. Of course, it varies from one individual to another, and so many conditions are there, different conditions. So it's important for devotees to know that, and that's how Prabhupada describes our Vaishnavacharyas who are in that mood and mentality that I am so fallen. It's important to have this kind of, we are fallen because we're here in the material world. And there are basically two processes or two levels of activities that all of us who are here in the material world need to know and need to follow. Both are referred to here. One is in terms of the spiritual activity. The perfection of spiritual activity is to be able to always remember, isn't it? Prabhupada used to say that the golden rule is to always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Yeah. So that is the perfection of spiritual activities. There is also, we could call it perfection in terms of material activities, which are kama and moksha, which are connected with varnasrama. Means that, and it's connected with the statement, again, given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, those, even though they are Vaishnavas, practicing Vaishnavas will embrace, adopt and follow the system, the prescribed material system given by Krishna of to actually facilitate our advancement in spiritual life. Simple example, people come here, for example, we're a bit more in contact with nature. We can breathe a bit more fresh air. Things are a bit more, if not a lot more, the mode of goodness. When you live close to nature, there's no major factory around here, no big chimney releasing all kinds of smoke. There's no air pollution. There's no noise pollution. One person came from Malaysia a few months ago, and she said, Maharaj, your place, I was at your place, it is so quiet place. So in other words, our material condition, our material situation, how we live, where we live, what we do, what work we take up, the more it is in line with what is prescribed in the Shastra. That's a whole topic connected with prescribed duties. What is the prescribed duties actually for the majority of householders? Prescribed duties for the majority of householders is connected with Krishi Guraksha. It is not what majority of our devotees or majority of people in the world are doing, which is a deviation actually from what is meant to be the standard. This is what we're trying to reestablish, to educate ourselves, to educate our devotees, that actually this is how we can give proper respect to Mother Nature. This is how we can properly utilize whatever energy, whatever talents we have by working with nature, by being connected with nature, by being connected with the land, by being connected with the cows. This comes up again and again. And some purports given by Srila Prabhupada are very heavy in that respect. That's one of them actually. We didn't read the whole thing regarding Sarva Kama Dugamahi. This kind of consciousness, this kind of understanding, we need to develop more and more, and that needs to become really anchored in our consciousness. And that's especially meant for those who are out to be the natural leaders in society, Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. Brahmanas and Kshatriyas have to have the same vision, have to have the same understanding, and together cooperate to make it happen. So, so in other words, as Vaishnavas, I'm not sure if that's answering your question. As Vaishnavas, we have to avoid just being on cloud, whatever, means we need to be very practical as well. I mean, spirituality doesn't mean disconnecting with the world in terms of neglecting to properly utilize the natural resources or the natural gifts of nature. That's coming to a main theme that is there. That we need to appreciate, to understand, and to properly utilize the natural gifts of nature. The natural gifts of nature being basically three: cows, land, and knowledge. Isn't it? These are the three gifts of nature. So as devotees, if we are disconnected with these nature, which are, again, they are fundamental for a proper society to function. Otherwise, we're not practicing. There's jnanam and vijnanam. We can have so much jnanam, but if we don't know how to apply that knowledge, if we're lacking in vijnanam, we cannot succeed. And that vijnanam actually is especially given by Krishna. Krishna reveals a knowledge, practical application of knowledge, when he becomes satisfied with our efforts.
So you say that Vaishnavas who become Vaishnavas because they are learning it from a family or become attracted to pure Vaishnavas. So they start to think, I want to become Vaishnava, I am Vaishnava, but still, until they have no purity and and because of that, no capacity to really focus on the lotus feet of the Lord, they should fix their mind on that principle that I have to follow the principle of Varnashram, protecting the cause, protecting the field, and act fully all day and night for this principle until I get to that level that I can really desire to surrender to the spiritual master. So that is the first, stage which most of us not really consider properly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
But that doesn't mean that once we become advanced, that we will stop serving the cows.
Yeah, of
No,
course.
I'm just saying.
That's natural. Why not? So that's by heart they will do that, but not by forcing their impious nature.
It's very interesting how it's like in the Nectar devotion, there is sadhana bhakti, then there is raganuga bhakti. Raganuga bhakti is spontaneous, natural.
The bhakti side, yeah.
So generally, for the vast majority of living entities, conditioned souls, we begin with sadhana bhakti. In many ways, Varnashrama is like that. For the sadhana means following different rules and regulations. As we gradually continue apply ourselves in following different rules and regulations, then we gradually become purified in consciousness, and we gradually become more spontaneous in performing those activities. We develop a taste, isn't it? And that's all nicely explained in the Nectar of Devotion. So in other words, bhakti is the means by which we can become purified to rise to the more advanced level of raga bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. Sadhana bhakti is generally performed by those who are still affected or connected by the modes of material nature. So Varnashrama is like that also. Varnashrama is for those who are still connected with the modes of material nature. Surprise, that's why we're here in the material world. We still have some connection. But we understand that in order to gradually become disconnected with these modes of material nature, we follow what is prescribed and recommended by Krishna. Krishna is, in Vrindavan is our most in terms of how to live, how to earn our livelihood, how to interact with nature, etc. Like that. The whole Vrindavan is teaching us, is centered on these gifts of nature actually. The cows are there, the land is there, everyone is focused on developing. See, that is meant to be the norm. We've deviated from that modern day society in a very major way. Therefore, we're off track, totally. So, unless we come back to what is meant to be, it's like, unless people find the path of bhakti, devotional, be able to advance and to know and to engage in Krishna service. And to find bhakti it is very rare. So in a similar way, to come back to what is meant to be simple and natural lifestyle, So yeah, Vaishnavas will should understand that yes, this is Krishna's God-given to help us become purified, to help us become eventually perfect in serving, and we. That is why our acharyas have given the word daiva. Daiva means any level and any individual within that system, if he develops the proper consciousness and performs all of his activities for pleasing Krishna, then he's performing bhakti, he's performing devotional service for which karmic reaction will not be there. So that may not be possible immediately as we practice. So the point being that actually for us who are aspiring Vaishnavas, to me it's very obvious and very clear, and it seems that it was very clear and obvious to Srila Prabhupada also, otherwise he would not have spoken about it, that varnashrama is a means to attain our goal of becoming completely purified, and that's the best system that is recommended in the Shastra. That's the system that Krishna himself lived or demonstrated, followed in Vrindavan. So as long as we are not doing that, then we're not following Krishna's system. To me, it's like very clear, and that because now we're living in the 21st century. Well, we're living in the 21st century, which is just complete major deviation from how we should be living, how we should be dealing with nature, with other living entities, etc. And how we should keep. Yeah. Okay, I think we can close for now. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Sri Prabhupada Gaura Premanande.
Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj.
So electricity came back.